What's going on, dum-dums? Let's talk some basketball. So the NBA in-season tournament is underway, and there's been a lot of talk about it. You know, there's been some cool moments. There's been a lot of people criticizing it, and I just kind of want to give my take on it. You know, I've been around basketball a ton, been at it at multiple levels, from the professional level to the college level, all those things, and I still service some of those teams today. So I figured it'd be interesting just to talk about it, see what we like, what we don't like, where there's room for improvement, just kind of talk about it for a bit. So one of the things I see a lot of is people saying that it's too confusing. I'm going to be honest, you guys are idiots. So let me break it down for y'all. So essentially, there's 6 groups. I even pulled the groups up here so that you could look at them. There's 6 groups, 3 for each conference. Pretty simple, right? You've seen things like this before. It's like a division in football. There you go. You're starting to get it now. Essentially, each of these groups right here, one team wins it. Guess how? By winning the most games. They're going to play every team in the group. They get 2 home games and 2 away games. Makes sense, right? It's nice and fair. 50-50, right? And then whoever wins it, they go on to the playoffs. And then, get this, because 3-3, that doesn't make for a nice bracket, does it? There's one wild card team. The next best team that didn't win their group gets to go to the playoffs as well then. From there, it's group play. Y'all have seen brackets before. It's just a bracket. A team makes it to the finals. I think that technically counts as like an extra game. And those teams that don't make the playoffs, they basically just make up the games that they missed from the playoffs throughout the rest of the regular season. Pretty simple. So as you can see, there's been plenty of games played so far, right? There's usually a couple each night. It's kind of a little event. They kind of are taking place a little bit sporadically, which I think that confuses people more than anything else. But so far, they've had a handful of games, except for, who is the one team that we saw that hadn't played in a full game yet? It was in my Bulls thing. Yeah, the Raptors haven't played a single game yet. I don't know how that exactly happened, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Looking at who's on top of these groups right now, too, it looks like the Lakers, maybe the Jazz become that wild card team or something, or I guess the Lakers, whoever wins out of these two, that could be interesting. Nuggets are winning theirs right now. Timberwolves, shout out to the Timberwolves, man, they're just winning everything. Pacers are on top right now. At the time of recording this, the Pacers are the #1 offense in the NBA, which is somewhat confusing to me because I don't really love their roster, but Tyrese Halliburton's amazing. He can get you like 17 assists and have no turnovers. So you know what? I'm here for it. The Heat just win, right? They're just going for any chip they can. Absolutely love it. And then the Celtics are on top here. They're only 1-0. It just doesn't look like many games have been played in this group yet. Shout out to my Bulls. Lost their only one. The Bulls suck, man. So I found this nice article on Sportsnet that I feel like kind of talks about a lot of the different components of the tournament, and I figured we could just kind of go through them. And you know, I might not agree with everything that they say in here. I don't know. I haven't really read it that thoroughly, but hey, shout out to this guy that wrote the article and everything. And yeah, let's dive into it. So something they like, the different courts. Yes. So I think in general, like here's an example of the different court right here. For those of you that aren't familiar, I'm sure you have. They've been all over the internet at this point for a multitude of reasons. The reason I like the idea of the courts so much is because these games do happen sporadically. You know, the average NBA fan might not know that they're tuning into an in-season tournament game. And so they turn this on and right away they see, oh, this court. This means something different, right? What's going on? And now all of a sudden you know, okay, the in-season tournament's happening right now. So just from like a marketing perspective, I think that's great. I also just think from like a player's perspective, it's got to feel good to like see, even when like I was a part of like March Madness and stuff, and you see like the stadium looks a little bit different, right? There's a little bit extra attention to detail going on. Things look a little bit nicer, right? It just gets you hyped up, right? It feels like you're about to do an event, and you are. In this case, you're competing for something in just a little bit more than the average regular season game. So I think that's pretty cool, and I think that's a win. What they don't like, the poor court designs and the color schemes. Yep, I'm on this side of the argument too. Obviously, colors and schemes and everything are all just opinions at the end of the day, so have whatever opinion you want, obviously. I don't like these courts at all. I think they're hideous. I think they're bad. Like this one here, the Phoenix Suns court, not good. I don't understand what the idea was with it. Like, I like the trophy in this one and stuff, but like, I don't know, maybe these full-colored courts work, maybe they don't. I think about it in football, right? And then there's Boise State that has like the blue field, and that one kind of just feels cool because it's the only one. It seems like when all of them look like this, it's just, I don't know. Here's a look at all the different courts. Like, I think Boston's looks okay. Like, this Hornets one looks okay. But, like, this Lakers one that's all gold, Ugh, I hate it. I watched this game with New Orleans playing in theirs. I don't understand. Like, this doesn't even quite look like the Mardi Gras colors. Where did they get this snot green from? I don't like it. Indies is horrible. And I think the worst of all is the Bulls. I genuinely think they do. They look like they're playing in the underworld, and I don't like it. But yeah, that's enough ranting about cosmetics. What else do they got for us? What we like, regular season games with added context. Yeah, no, I think this is great. I know people are a little bit confused, but like I said, by the fact that they're kind of happening sporadically, but that's kind of an American problem. This is one of those moments where us as Americans forget that there's things outside of this country. Most of the world knows how tournaments like this work because they happen frequently in other sports around the world. So they basically just stole the idea, brought it here, which is a great idea, and found a way to add context throughout what otherwise would be a very mundane regular season. The basketball season's long, man, and so I can understand as like if you're just like a casual basketball fan, and that's fine, like you might not have a ton of interest in these games, right? Like, you probably have a pretty decent idea of who's going to the playoffs most years. In basketball, there's not always a ton of surprise in that. So finding a way to just, like, slide a little something extra into the season, I think it's really fun. And the basketball sicko in me just wants to watch every single one and be like, oh, who's going to win this, right? I want to see them going at it for this cup, right? I think it's pretty cool. What they don't like, no group hype or interconference play. I'm guessing what they mean by the group hype thing is they think that they didn't do enough job of like setting up some animosity between teams or something like that. I don't know. I don't really care about that. Like, sure, there's some teams that I don't really care to watch play each other. Like in the Bulls conference, I don't need to see the Nets play the Raptors. I just don't. I'll watch Nick Claxton switch on the defenders all day, and I have a lot of fun with that, but I don't need to watch like that much of it. The interconference play is kind of a thing. I know the NBA has its thing where it's like you only play teams from the opposite conference twice a year, and so it can probably kind of mess things up, like scheduling wise, if they were trying to do that. But I don't know. I don't really have a problem with how it's scheduled right now. Like maybe some storylines develop and stuff, and I'm pretty sure they developed the groups mathematically too, didn't they? So that they're as even as possible. I don't know. Like maybe it becomes a thing if. Because, like, the basketball divisions that they, like, actually have, like, don't mean a thing besides, like, who you're actually playing multiple times a year. But I feel like there's not actual, like, animosity like there is in football. And maybe that's just because there's so many games in the year, it's hard to be invested like that. But who knows? Maybe if you have to play those same play-in teams or in-season tournament teams enough time, maybe some animosity grows out of that. But I get the feeling they're just going to restructure it every year. What we like, designated NBA Cup days. Yeah, no, I think that's really cool, right? Like, I think the concept being like, oh, I know this Thursday or something is a NBA Cup day, so there's going to be some games, and I'm already looking ahead, and I see the too many Cup games at the same time. That's what bothers me a little bit. I almost want them to like start it a little bit sooner so that they could space the games out. The other night, there was like how many of them on or whatever, and I was like, oh, I want to watch all of these. When Benyama was playing Chet in one of them, but I also wanted to see like Zion play, and Jordan Hawkins was going off in that game, and I wanted to watch that when it was happening at the same time. So just the basketball sicko in me wants to watch more games, and I want to be able to tune into all these Cup games. Another thing they like, teams taking the game seriously. I agree with this one too. It seems like guys are really into it so far, but at the time of recording this, I think I'm 2 days removed from Draymond Green choking out Rudy Gobert, which is absolutely hilarious. I love that. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those dudes that gets so hyped when dudes like talk shit, get into scraps. And also, like, leave me a comment on this one. Am I the only one that like is really bothered with how easily like the NBA tees people up for like talking shit, like hanging on a rim and stuff? I want to see stuff like that. I want to see dudes like talking shit, smacking the ground, like doing stuff like that. That's fun to me. That's what makes me stand up off my couch and be like, oh yeah, like let's go, right? Like, I don't know. That just seems way more fun to me. I don't know who they're really trying to protect from stuff like that. That's the kind of basketball I grew up with in like the 2000s and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old head or something. But yeah, it does seem like the guys are taking the game more seriously. I know I saw Adam Silver talk about this on the JJ Redick podcast, that the foreign players just like do take it more seriously because they're used to like this concept, right, of the in-season tournament. And they're the ones kind of getting everyone riled up for it, right? But it does just seem like guys are playing harder. I even noticed in like the Spurs-Thunder game, the Thunder were beating the shit out of the Spurs, right? But the Spurs are still playing hard at the end of the game because the points are tiebreakers and things. And these guys want to compete. There's a lot of young guys on that team where that money can really make a difference. And that is a motivator too. I just saw Damian Lillard talk about it too, where he's like, look, money shouldn't be a motivator, but it is, right? At the end of the day, that's not a good reason to say like, oh, we should win this game because there's money on the line. But like, it does matter, especially to like these two-way guys on the team where they may not be on an NBA roster next year. And so, you know, maybe they might have an $800,000 contract this year, which is a lot of money to you and I, but an extra $500,000 could change their family's life. And that's enough for a lot of the guys on the team to play for. They're like, hey, yeah, let's go get our dudes some money, right? What they don't like, some players making the format seem impossible to understand. Yeah, no, it's not that complicated. I haven't seen this clip of Curry or whatever, but yeah, I get the feeling he just says like, look, just read the shit. It's not that hard. Like, it's essentially football in a lot of ways. Like, it's not that hard. You win games in your group and you go to the playoffs. It's that easy. NFL literally works the exact same way. So there you go. For future considerations, the Elam ending is what they would do in the All-Star game, where essentially they would take whoever has the most points going into the fourth quarter and they would add 24 to it. So then you now have a target score. They did the 24 because of Kobe and everything. Rest in peace, my guy. I don't know. I don't really want to see that. I like it for the All-Star game. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a way to make it a little more competitive because the game can't just end, right? I like it for that reason. So I think that's pretty cool, but I don't think I want to see it for like an actual like game that matters as much. I'd rather it just be like actual basketball, right? So I think I'm going to say no to that one. I don't think it actually matters that much. So nah, I don't really want to see it for that. Overall, I think the concept is pretty cool, and I'm excited for more of it. I can't wait to see the championship game. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I just want to see, oh, here's the fight. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. People getting more into it. I love how there was a little ad in the background here. Look at this. Take care that's on your team, right? Oh, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. But yeah, man, I want to see people get into it like this. I love this stuff in basketball. I just do. It's just more fun for me. But yeah, no, I hope that we get to see like a competitive finals or whatever. Maybe we see some teams that don't even make the playoffs, right? If you win the in-season tournament, leave a comment on this one as well. Do you hang a banner? I think you hang a banner. You won a championship. I think you should hang a banner. Maybe it's a smaller banner, though. Maybe it's just a little bit smaller banner. But I think you should. Like, you won a championship. You should get something for it. I don't know if you get a ring or anything, but I'll take the banner. But yeah, no, in-season tournament, success so far. I like it. I'm excited about it. Those of you that are complaining and saying it's too hard to understand, as I told you, I regret to inform you, but you're an idiot. So, sorry about that. Hope you get better. Hope you learn something. Read a book or something. All right, that's going to be it. Have a good one, dum-dums. We'll talk about some basketball later. Bye.